Literally now, I've been in media and entertainment for 21 years.
You just brought it up, Mr. Vegas. This is the first time I remember hearing your name in an issue.
Listen, you're coming like FBI muscles, like you investigate.
I feel Macka Diamond is one of the most disrespected artists there is in dancehall.
Yeah. There's no way that Macka has ever thought that this song with Derek would be added to our forever catalog. Come on. You're ridiculous. At the end of the day, I don't like to get into pasa. I don't like it.
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? This is Muscle, and this is another Two Line Music Hut's Entertainment Report podcast. And today, we have a really special guest in the building. Listen, she's usually in my seat here, but she's now going to be in her seat over there. She's a radio personality, artist, manager, PR strategist, all type of stuff in the entertainment field. You know, we have in the building today, Janice Young, a.k.a. Jan. How are you doing today?
I'm good. Listen, you're coming like FBI muscles. Like, you investigate.
Yeah, I wouldn't say, you say investigate, I say research.
Well, that's true.
Yeah.
You have to know your audience and you have to know your talent. So I get it.
Being in this business, I feel like you should know who you're sitting across from. I could put together 20 generic questions and you tell me what you're doing 5 years from now, but that's super generic.
That's true.
Once you realize I'm into you as a person and I understand you, you're going to give me and the audience what they want.
Absolutely.
You understand?
Yeah.
All right, so I know you're an entertainment darling and all that. That started in 2004, but I want to catch up before we even get there.
Yeah.
What was Jan like growing up, and where did you grow up?
I grew up in Mountain View in Kingston, which is like a shutter town, so it's a bad area in Kingston. Literally, I actually still live there now. Because it's like home to me. So, you know, people automatically, when they say live a Mountain View or you grow a Mountain View, they say, oh, yeah, bad girl.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But no. So I went to Norman Gardens all-age school, went to Holy Child High School, then went into college at University of Technology, Jamaica, studied marketing and international business, and fell in love with radio on the way. You know, you started doing a little internship at RJ 94 FM, and then from there you realize that, wait, you know, I like this. So doing accounts at Sagicor wasn't like me anymore. I was like, this boring. Like when people come with a problem is when I get excited. Like you can interact with humans, and I was like, this is what I want to do. Because
you were really a number cruncher, accountant, doing accounting before that was your thing.
Yeah, that's what I studied. That's what I went and started working at maybe like 18, 19 while you're going to college. That's why you have everybody be accountant clerk. You know, everybody accountant clerk. You know what I mean? That's why you leave school for going to be an accountant clerk. And I keep getting promoted. The merged, Island Life and LOJ merged into Sagicor. I kept getting promoted and I'm like, but I don't really like what I do. And when I discovered radio, and I was like, no. And that whole thing with radio ended because I started in radio with Judith Bodley. And when she went and started Zip, she wanted to take me with her. And my mother was like, no, you cannot leave your good job to go. I want a radio station with just a start.
Yeah.
So no, don't do it. I was like, okay, no problem. And then that's it where radio ended for me. And I was like, so you're doing school or you're doing work in the office and you're like, I'm not fulfilled. So I just started sending out applications to every radio station.
Just because you got that taste of radio.
Yeah, I got a little taste and I was like, no man, I'm greedy, I want more. You know what I mean? And then I got a call from Francois at Fame FM, and he was like calling me for an interview. And he said to me, your letter was interesting. It could either go either way. Because literally when I sent in a letter, I said, if you want somebody amazing in your company and if you want a dynamic individual, then you need to call me. And he was like, I think you're interesting. I'm going to give you a shot.
Yeah.
And that was 2004. And here I am now, literally the senior producer for the station now. Rest in peace, Francois Saint-Just. But yeah.
And I call you the Siri of Jamaica. Because a lot of people don't realize your voice is everywhere.
That's true. My mother said that all the time. She's like, sometimes she said, now film your work. How many listen to every station I hear your voice? Because it's like Burger King and Supreme Ventures. I literally just did a campaign for Super Lotto as well. Like, yeah. And then even though she lives in Canada, she's like, why may I listen to a Superlicious out of your voice be here? You don't live here. It don't matter.
You're haunting her. You're following her.
I know,
Yeah. What got you into, because radio is one thing, but what got you into to do voiceovers and things like that?
I think it started from radio because I think sometimes when you are a voice on radio, persons trust that voice. And so they have a campaign, they want to probably do some commercials, they'll call you to say, hey, I think your voice fits what I'm trying to do. And also with radio, you have to do promotions for the station. So you get used to going to the studio and voicing promos on your promos. Yeah. And so your voice is there. And then suddenly now people call you to say, hey, I'm going to pay you some money to do the voice for my brand. Yeah. So that's what happens.
Yeah, because you see the thing with it, speaking to you now, I hear that voice peek through. Yeah. Every now and then, but I know you have your regular speaking voice, and then you have that
radio voice.
Yes.
Then people say, "Oh, you put on your radio voice." I'm like, "What do you mean? It's my voice." I mean, sometimes when you like go in the studio, you start speaking from your diaphragm a little bit more, so it the voice becomes fatter. You know what I mean? Fluffy like me. You know what I mean? So the voice just kind of propel a little bit, but. Yeah. I think I've always had an interesting voice from when I was even growing up and in church. At 13, I went up to read a Bible verse and I realized that the whole church get quiet. And in Jamaica, church not quiet. Right? Yeah. And I was like, oh, them look at me so like, Bugu na my nose, me no know. I came down off the pulpit now and someone who was at the church that worked at Jamaica Information Service came over to me and said, you know, you have a very beautiful voice. And I was like, oh, that's everybody look at me, so? Yeah. My mom and all her friends had me record their messages on the landline, you know, back in the day.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, man. So you call the phone. But even now my friends do that. Like you have to record my voice note on my phone. Like, okay.
Okay, well, I'm glad what I'm going to ask you to do later is now that you know I'm going to ask you for an ad before. Yeah. Before you go, you know that, right?
Anytime, man.
Yeah, man. I have to have that Jamaican Siri voice. Oh,
Jamaican Siri. You know, sometimes I feel like I would want to do the Siri voice, like I don't want to drive and say, you know, so you say, on the next left, turn right. You know, you must have a turn right. Stop. Stop the damn car, no, man. You know what I mean? Like, make it like Patois Siri.
Yeah.
You know? I
know.
I should do that.
You have the personality and the voice to go with it. So there should be nothing stopping you from attempting to do something like that.
There you go. I should. Yeah. Let's work it out. Work it out, management.
Definitely. So 04, you got to the radio, started doing your stuff. What was the first stuff that you started to do when you got to the radio?
So as a radio station projects coordinator, that was my first job. So I was never on air, even though that's what I loved the radio. But Fame 95 was a very dynamic station. So they did a lot of stuff outside of what happened on air. So they had a projects coordinator that planned events, organized everything, the Listeners Club, the Fame Fraternity. Basically, we planned whole sorts of stuff. We did the Fame calendar. So there's a lot of things that happen that you have to be in charge of those projects. So that was me. And then when I finished college, because I was doing marketing, and Judith, bless our soul, said to me, because I was like, yo, I love this radio thing, Judith. You think I should switch over and go carry Macka at you instead? And she's like, no. You're more marketable. Do what you're doing. I said, all right. So when I finished college now, I went and did voice and speech training with Paula Ann Porter and Simone Clark Cooper. And then I was like, all right, 4 years, you know, as projects coordinator, finish everything, you know, finish voice and speech training. Got to Francois and said to him, say, you know. So he's like, go do a demo. I was like, okay. Like everybody else, go do an audition. And when he's got the tape, he listened to it and he came out and says, all right, be ready to go on air next week Wednesday. Okay.
Just like that.
Just like that. Yeah. Just like that.
You have the voice, you have the personality that makes everything connect.
It's weird because like all my friends, even friends from college, like when they saw me in the accounting field and I left accounting in the middle of college and started working at Fame FM, they're like, but that's so, I just say for a long time. Like, that's your personality. Yeah, and I was like, 100%. I know. Yeah. My mom wasn't particularly happy because she's like, you gotta read at work. Yeah. You know, it's a whole heap of, you know, like what she said. I don't know if you cut this up, but a whole heap of lives in work at radio. And I was like, what? She's like, that place there. I'm coming out of church. I'm coming out of church too. So she's like, yo. But my mom got happy with jobs at radio when one, everybody at Fair Office on Fame calendar, and suddenly, no, your daughter work at Fame?
Sometimes it takes outside forces to make them really understand what it is that you were trying to tell them all the time.
Our air supply come to Jamaica and like, oh, mom, I got VIP tickets for you. She's like, all right, I like your radio work, no.
No, it's just one of those things. It's just like going into radio would be just like becoming an artist where your parents might want you to be a doctor or something.
Exactly.
It's the exact same. Entertainment, they don't want you to go.
Stability for you, and that's understandable.
But entertainment can provide, but you have to put in a lot of work before you get to that stable state. And even sometimes it's stable for a year or two, and then it's turbulent again.
It's fluctuates. So, it's like a roller coaster ride sometimes. And I get it. You want to make sure your kids are successful. And a lot of times, too, you don't necessarily see entertainment as success. It's like a hobby. It's a side gig. It's something you do for fun. Even my brother was very interested in being a rapper.
Okay.
Yeah, man. So he's in Canada now. He just got married, but he was interested in being a rapper. And I'm like, I get you love that and you want to be out and clubs and whatever it is, but you have to put a stable thing in place first, So he did pharmacology here and then went into Shoppers and was a pharmacist there for a while before he went into politics. So now he works for the government.
Okay, so your mom tried to tell you don't go into radio, and then you try to turn and tell your brother don't be a rapper?
I said to him, be a rapper if you want to be. If you want to be Drake, be Drake.
Yeah.
But make sure you have a college degree so that if the Drake thing don't work out, you're not go hungry.
Well, have a plan B.
There you go. Because even before I went like on air or whatever it is, I had the job. I was fit. I was doing college. I was doing, you know what I mean? So I can go work in a marketing if I want to. If the radio thing didn't work out, thank God it work out still because that's what I love.
Yeah.
But if it never work out, what is your plan? What is your backup? You have to have something ready. A lot of persons like, you see it even like with sporting stars. They have an injury and they have nothing to go on because all they've done all their lives is play football or basketball. And you get an injury, you can't do that no more. You're confused. You don't know what's up.
Got you. So got to the radio, first doing marketing and stuff, got to the radio, now you're an on-air personality.
Yeah.
What was that like, and what were some of your first interviews, your early interviews that you had to do?
A lot of interviews I had would have been with some artists. I had a feature called Fireside Beyond the Stars, which is the noted artists. The artists have been in the industry for a long time. You get a chance to sit down and have conversations with them. And I think like working in radio and working with artists, that's I think how it kind of propelled me into artist PR and artist management, because I've always been someone to want to help the artist, you know what I mean? So whether it's interviewing like Ghost or Beanie Man or Serani, you know what I mean? It's like TOK back in the days. You literally see where they, are doing something positive, particularly for the culture, and you want to be a part of that. Yeah. And so that's why, even though you may be the voice on radio, you actually want to help the artist to push them. So if there's anything you can do, you always do it.
So then it's just you wanting to discover more, learn more, do more is what propelled you further into the entertainment space than just being a radio personality at that time. Because as you said, you're doing PR. Who are some of your early clients that you were doing PR for?
All right, so this is how I went into PR. I went into PR because a friend of mine, Vigga from Portmore, had an artist that was being managed by Featherweight, who worked with Movado. Yeah, long story. But so he was Sean Kingston's cousin. His name, he lives in Florida. He's called J.A. So J.A. sent a song that he did. It was a song based on a brand called Vans. So he did a Vans song. He sent it, Vigga sent it to me and said, listen to the song. And I was like, yo, that song is good. So automatically I got him an interview on Fame, linked my friends over by Zip and get him an interview too. And then Vigga said, oh, nice. I'm come down and get into interviews. And him say, that the manager really want a PR for him. And I was like, okay, I know a couple of PR. So me get some castings and whatever. So I send it to Vigga. Vigga call me and say, Featherweight say, the person who get the artist the 2 interviews because they like the song, and them will do the PR. I'm like, I'm not a PR in the business.
Yeah, now you
said
are.
The fact say you literally never asked for anything, push the song because you thought it was talent. Those are the kind of people you want on the team. So that's how I fell into PR. And then when I'm now working with him, he's there, I'm carrying him to stations, doing interviews. Suddenly now, like every artist that I know, because I remember one time I saw Cecile and Cecile said, wait, you're a publicist? No, I'm just helping a friend. That's how and I was like, what, we may fight it, because I always want the best for artists. And if you're in the industry, you have the connects. I did, I had a side business where I advertising consultation for companies. So you did like brand development for small companies. So it means that you have links in all the stations because you have advertising everywhere. So I had the connects locally. So if an artist come with a song and I thought it was good, I'm going to push it. And that's the weird thing with me, because I was even telling Leslie earlier, if it don't good, me I gotta tell you.
Because your job is to be a professional. I rather tell you and you kind of don't like me right now and then you go fix it than for us to run with what we consider garbage or it's
There
not good.
you go.
You
There
understand?
you go.
Hate me for telling you the truth instead of you loving me for me telling you a lie.
Yeah, because I remember even Mr. Vegas, because I did PR for him too. Mr. Vegas vexed me one time because he was managing a young artist, a female artist. She came out of Rising Stars, and he was making him go Europe and a Spice and J Capri around the place. So I'm gonna turn her in a J Capri and Spice. So I said okay, and then him voice her upon one of him MV Music rhythm. Voice her upon the rhythm with him, Wicker Man, and some other old man. And I said, you want her to turn Spice and J Capri and your voice up on a rhythm and pure old man.
Yeah.
I said, you have to make Chimney Records or them guys the voice are.
That's
And
in
he
the
was
flow.
upset with me because I'm like, the rhythm is not going to go anywhere because he's a bag of old man, including you, yeah, old man. And poor little, little artist, it's not going to work because the song was nice, but how you're promoting it now, I say, you have to try and put her on, because I said, Russian at that time, it just come out. Russian, Chimney Records, even some of the radio jocks that were producing music. Make them voice her, because at least then you're guaranteed for your earplay, because them work there.
Least, at minimum.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So he was upset because him call her and say, well, look like your publicist or your manager, because make she manage it and she should know more than me. Bro, you did, no.
Yeah.
No. But at the end of the day, as I said, even RDX will say to me like, yo, if you don't want the truth, hear the truth, Because you'll be in a studio with artists, with RDX, Renegade and Delamar, you'll be in the studio, they might play a rhythm, play a song, and everybody's, yo, that bad. Man, I say, that song they pack with so much something that nobody not gonna even be able to sing that. No, if nobody can follow your song, it not gonna go away. And what you mean? The song never gone away.
Yeah.
So me look like we did right. But I'm always going to be honest, and that's why sometimes you just avoid people, because if you want to know the truth, me I can tell you.
A lot of people want to rather be lied to than to be told the truth. You understand? The truth hurts a lot of the time, You have to be mature in yourself to handle the truth,
That's true, then don't ask me. If you don't want to know, don't ask me. Because
I'd rather you tell me the truth.
Yeah, I can't do this is the politically correct thing.
Yeah.
I don't play politics.
Yeah.
I don't vote, so don't ask me.
You just brought it up, Mr. Vegas. This is the first time I remember hearing your name in an issue. 2016.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, I know it. I go dig up the old file, them, Yeah, 2016. So this is what happened, right? So I represented Mr. Vegas, and I represented Serani. Serani was featured on Drake's album. Mr. Vegas was not. So on Stage TV, Winford linked me and said they wanted Serani to come on and talk about the album or whatever it is. They said no problem. Did the interview. After the interview, I represent both of them. He did, because Vegas was spouting a whole lot of stuff about the album and Drake and using dancehall and all that stuff, right? So Serani now, Winford would ask him certain things about what he thought about Mr. Vegas was saying. And so he answered. So I called Vegas and said, hey, the interview just done. I just want to give a heads up. Serani counteracted some of the stuff that you said, but he didn't disrespect you. But because I represent both of you, I just wanted to be clear that, before the interview come out, come in on Saturday, come on, you see the interview and I saw the one on the steer. I'll me tell Serani if you start sing, I'll start produce. I saw on the steer on ungrateful. Hang up phone, block me. He's like a girl like that. So he'll block you and then unblock you. So the same way when we're telling about the artists, like the boys are for some young with him vex him, block me. Maybe 2 days later him unblock me again and come back and say, yeah, more I represent this artist, or whatever. So now him vex with me because of Serani Band Drake album. Nothing to do with me. It's okay, cool, no problem. Vex with me same way. And then the following week, Winford wanted him on. So, all right, he did it and whatever. No, or it was the other way around. Like, he did it first and then Serani after. So, he went on Winford, talk a bag of stuff about Drake and the album. And then Winford wanted me to have Serani on after. So, I told him Serani went on, counteracted some stuff that you said. But he didn't disrespect you. So, he was vexed, whatever it is. So, now, weeks later, Amari said she's in Vegas there.
Yeah.
And, you know, she's obviously crazy. So, she says they're in a relationship, whatever it is. So Vegas had a project promoting at the time. Anyway, I called him. He blocked me, him vex, no problem, but me do my work. So I said, hey, I'm going to mention this story anyway, because I was doing entertainment news. So I'm going to mention this story anyway, but I wanted you to know if you wanted to say something.
Okay, so you were looking to give him a heads up, say, hey, this is what we're going to be speaking about.
Yeah, I'm going to talk about it. And he's like, yeah, man, ready for talk, man. I said, because me and Amari, we're going to get married. So I had him on, on what do you call it? I put it on speaker in the office. I said, what did you say? Put it on speaker. So everybody in the office, Nikki Z at the time, everybody hearing where he says, yeah, man, me and I get married and whatever it is. Someone said, okay, it seems like he's taking it as a joke then. He's not taking it personally. So that's kind of light. Yeah. Okay, no problem. So, all right. So I'm going to call you in like half an hour when I'm on air. He says, no problem. So I made sure I had my stories prepared just in case he didn't answer the phone when I called him. Because, you know, maybe him say it because him up on the phone, say I'm good with the interview. But when we get there, he's not. So I said, okay, no problem. So when I get downstairs and I call him, he answers the phone, put him on hold. Play the commercials, ready, you know. When I go on air, Mr. Vegas, as I said, oh, so Mr. Vegas, I hear Amari and you are going to be newlyweds and you're going to be having a child soon. Tell us about that. And then Mr. Vegas goes, is this you call me for? Janice Young from Fame FM. Is this you call me for? The station where Colin Hines and Francois Saint-Just Bill. You know, we have proper music, we have album or promote, we have whatever it is. And this is where you call me for. And then he hung up the phone. So I'm trembling because I'm like, did Vegas just hang up the phone on me? Why did he's like calling my name so after in the whole interview. And
he's still your client at this time or you guys weren't working?
No. Because after what happened with Serani, he was upset weeks before. So what happened with the artist that he was working with, he said, look like I'm me for manager, so he's upset. But that's what I'm saying. Vegas is always like, upset, block you, unblock you. Upset, not talk to you. You know, like a girl who got to go through PMS, you know what I mean?
You know this part, we're going to get some calls and some blocks too, right?
Yeah, no problem. It's fine. It's okay. I'm back broad. So, so anyway now, so when the interview, so the good thing I had additional stories. So I finished my entertainment news and I'm like, did the phone cut off or did Vegas hang up on me? Only a couple minutes later to have my whole phone and everything blow up because he was recording the interview for his Facebook page. That's why he was calling my name because I was on the phone. So he said, Janice Young from Fame FM, he keeps saying my name. So I'm like, why is he calling my name? He posted on his Facebook thing and all of them come in and say stuff like, yeah man, I saw them go on when them fuck forget them job. I saw them go on when them not real reporter. And I'm like, to the point where, all right, I work on Fame FM. Other stations like Zip had personalities on it that were defending me online. Like, no, there's no way you wouldn't have known what she called you about. They would have given, the reporter wouldn't have called you about something. Why would you go on the air and do that? Like, I'm like, me never have to say nothing at all. Me sit down quietly. Everybody defend me because I'm like, and you know, sometimes too, when you look at it where you work so hard for your career and somebody's just going to come and make it look as though you're unprofessional or you are bad mind, or what. But he was carrying feelings from the whole Serani thing, and this is his way of getting back at me. So I was like, big up yourself. You are a real girl. You know what I mean? No problem.
Because when I seen, I heard the interaction on the radio, but it was after now. I think he was DJ. I forgot what DJ went and posted on Facebook.
Nico.
Yes, and Nico, then that's where he really let off right there. So I said, there must have been some issue with you guys before for him to just get
this. That was it. It was the fact that Serani get a feature on Drake album. How much artists would Drake work with and then never reach out to me. But that's how he is. Like, if people in the industry understand, so even now when he's like being a blogger and always commenting on stuff, yeah, okay. You know what I mean? That's how you stay. It's okay. It's fine. But my thing is, it took me a while after that. So, you pull it up from 2016. It took me a while to rebuild my reputation that you make it look like I'm saying, who did I have sex with to get my job? I don't understand. Like, I work hard for what, and even as a publicist working with a whole lot of male artists, my reputation is solid. You never hear in a room about me. You know, like, why would you say that? Like, people just
that was the get back. There you go. That was the get back.
The ha-ha. Then again, even when you look at it and you see, as even his publicist, you see what he does to get attention. It didn't surprise me. Because even when my boss came to me and says, see what's going on and whatever it is, it's the front page of the Star. Do you want us to ban Mr. Vegas's music? And I said, no, Francois, because that's what he wants.
Okay, because again, I remember when Francois came out, he said, no, we're not going to ban anything. We're looking into it, but we're not going to ban anything.
No, he came to me, he asked me, and I said, no, Francois, because I worked in Vegas for about 2 years. I said, that's what he wants, because now he can make another story to say I've been banned. I said, we only play Vegas music on Retroactive Wednesday anyway. None of them new stuff, them don't play nowhere. Nobody no business. You know what I mean? So it's because now that becomes an extension of the story. I want the story to end. I'm not gonna follow it up. Already, my team, even people who work in different competing entities defend me. I don't need to defend myself. They knew, and people knew, that it was on speaker. This man was asked multiple times. He said he wanted the interview. He was brought on air again before I go live. I asked him, you sure you want to talk? Because I can do the story without having you talk. And the minute the mic is open on live radio, he just says, look how me gonna mess her up now. Look how me gonna deal with her now. I don't know. Yeah. I don't know. Why you never trouble Serani? I'm the Patrick of me. Me just give the heads up, brother. He, of course, a year later, came true to form. I was hosting Full House Friday with Captain Colin Hines and Dufton and everything. And the producer said to me, Mr. Vegas wants to come on the show. I said, hey, I'm not blocking nobody's career. Sure, he can come on the show. I just want to interview him. He comes we're live at the ATL Automotive. He comes sit right beside me. I'm ignoring him because I'm not speaking to him. I get up, go for a test drive. I said, Colin, you do the interview because I'm not talking to him. I lock off my phone, go up on test drive, and I come back now. Everybody's saying, oh, Mr. Vegas, I love you on radio. I apologize. I said, Vegas has my number. He know me live, he know my office there. If he wanted to apologize, but I appreciate that he did it on air the same way he dissed me on air.
Fair enough.
I appreciate that. But if he wanted to make amends, he could have done it, because now he's promoting another song. And so now and I'm saying I'm not going to give him what he wants, which is the attention. I'm not going to address it. I'm even said, okay, great. I'm glad he apologized on air, because he knew he did something bad a year ago. No problem. But I'm not going to follow it up. I'm good.
You understand how media works, and if you add to it, it's just going to continue to get
Flame
bigger.
to the like what's going on right now with twins and Macka Diamond. Like,
we soon reach there. Hold on.
Jaja.
We soon reach there. We soon reach there. We got some grounds to cover. All right, listen, your personality is so crazy. So then that was 2016, but we skipped a bit, like about 3 years. This is when you started Street Cred Jamaica.
Well, Street Cred was started in 2013.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. 2016, so 3 years.
Yeah, before. Right. So at that point now, I had resigned out of office at Fame FM and only kept the on-air job because I had 2 contracts.
Okay, so you were in office and on air.
Yeah, so I was in office first, then in office and on air, then on air alone, and then now back to in office and on air in a different capacity. So I launched Street Cred. So it was a merger of the whole PR thing that I'd started with JA, and realizing that, so voicemail came, wanted me to work with them. Siobhan, Makion, a couple of artists started coming, and we started to launch out Street Cred. And then started doing just not PR, but then merging over the years into artist management and representation, because Yanique Curvy Diva would just started hosting a party and she wanted a booking agent. So I was like, I've never done bookings before. We go online and search booking agent document. I was like, all right, girl. Because we work together at Fame. Yeah. So I was like, yeah, man. I'll be your booking agent. And that's how that started. And then it morphed into her starting to record. And I was like, my girl, you know me honest. If the song done good, you know, so me and your contract done because me not. And it was an awesome song produced by Good Productions and then propelled in her artist career. Then tour management, no, because you start working with artists and you're on the road with her. So it just propelled.
Because you could see she seemed like she was like almost like your real baby at one time. Where anywhere she was, you were the one that was really in the corner doing the business when it came to Yanique.
Yeah,
her in particular. There's a lot of people too, but her in particular, you could see that your fingerprint was all over the business
of the
when
Curvy
it came
Diva.
to her. So, yeah.
No, it's like a funny thing. Like I remember years after when I said to her, I just pulled up, like we're doing taxes and whatever, just pull up an old contract. I said, you see where you started out, how you that work for, look on it now. Like that's crazy, like the growth and the, you know what I mean? But even now, I mean, she has the restaurant Dining with Curvy, and we have campaigns planning to launch out for the brand as well. She's going to be doing a seasoning line. She's gone all into that corporate type of thing. So we still work together and we're still friends.
You could see that she took a break to really, I don't know if it was take a break to figure out what she wanted to do, but she took a break, wasn't really on social media a lot, and then she started to say, okay, restaurant, food, doing the workout and all of this stuff here because, you know, people were talking and all. So then she really said, okay, look how I'm going to change the game here.
I think what happened with Yan, and she'll tell you if you interview her, she never really wanted to necessarily be this big skin out, dash out, you know, drop pussy feelings, all of this. Is this pum pum this, pussy this? Like, she's like, it's too much. It's too much. So until I figure out, like, which direction I want to go in, and then here comes COVID, where every show cancel, everything. So it's like, okay, how do I pivot? And Yanique has always been like a chef. You go games evening at Yanique house. Yeah. She's like, oh, no, hungry? I gotta just mix up something. And what she mix up would be like curry, shrimp, and pasta. Like, oh, you make that a bread and water you get from me if me I go mix it. You want something for it? Bread and butter. Make you fry an egg. But no. She do shrimp pasta as a, just like mix up a little something. She's always been a good chef. And so she says, okay, let me just do like some pop-ups then. You know what I mean? Pop-ups turn into restaurant franchise, turn into cookbook, turn into entrepreneur.
all you have to do is make that first move, just like yourself, make that first move. And life takes you all different directions. It's just you got to be ready when that door opens to go into that door there, wherever it's leading you.
I think I always like the idea of being somebody to propel. Like, I like being behind the scenes. Like, there are times when I'm on the road, whether it's with Yanique or with RDX or with Razor B, because I managed Razor B for like a couple of years too. Like, when I'm on the road with them, I forget that I'm Janice Young from the radio. I'm like in road manager, artist manager mode. I remember even one time I was in Montego Bay and I was asking for an extension cord for somebody that was working. We were at Sumfest. I wanted to plug in Yanique's phone in the tent. And the guys was looking at me like with his mouth. So I'm like, maybe he didn't hear me. So I'm like, no, what I wanted to know if I can get an extension cord for Curvy Diva's tent. And he's like, oh my God, I love you. I'm like, what the hell? And he's like, I listen to you all the time on the radio. And I was like, all right. But up on the radio now?
Because in your mind, you're not in that zone. Me a Curvy Diva
agent today. Me are not Janice Jan Young from the radio. Me a Curvy Diva agent. So, cause even when I don't take pictures, I'll take the picture for you guys. No, I want a picture with you. Like, why? And it's like, but come listen to your show. I was like, all right, I'm on the radio.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's just one of those things. Even you said you were managing RDX and Razor B2. How did you link with RDX, and then how did you link with Razor B next?
All right, so the contract with Voicemail ended, and RDX ended their PR contract with their representative that was in New York. And they're looking for new representation. And they liked how they saw the campaign, because I had even had Voicemail signed to Fireblade energy drink, full camp. They liked what they saw. So they didn't know who did it. So they went to Voicemail and said, who represent, you know? And they say, oh, it's Janice. And they're like, no, man, we need to meet with her. Yes. You know what I mean? So that's how that works. So they manage themselves, but I was their agent, you know what I mean, and their publicist for quite a number of years. And even now I represent, because knowing that they're split, I represent Love You Still Delamar for sure, but I represent Renegade.
I see that. It's just, I don't know, for whatever reason, it's relationship or whatever. It's just, it seems you just happen to say, okay, this is who I'm sticking with right now.
Yeah. I mean, as I'm saying, me and Delamar are good. Same way. But you can't represent both.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So one of them has a specific direction that they're going in with the music, I say, yeah, let me work with you.
You know, you just said something. Why can't you represent both?
Because to me it would be a conflict of interest because they're arguing with each other.
Okay, so then you're in the middle.
That's a part of my contract. If you have any kind of altercation with any other street cred artist, the contract is null and void. So if you war with any artist or me represent, but that's what happens. Like you're forced to choose sides in an argument. And if we have a friendship, me not gonna choose sides. So it's better to represent only one, so that if you're worried him, then automatically I'm gonna have to be on his side. You know what I mean?
So you were with them when they had those big monster songs then?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shake It Bam Bam.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's there for that. Major Lazer. Something. Yeah.
What is that like to see somebody? Yeah, they were big when you met them.
Yeah.
But see them hit that next level. What is that like for somebody that likes to work behind the scenes? What is that like for you?
It's. I feel like art. I think I could. I mean, I don't have kids in real life, but sometimes when you feel like a Gladbach boss because your picnic just graduated.
You're proud.
You're proud. And even Twani, who did Honda. Some roll out, some rolling. Twani, I managed Twani for a couple of years before he migrated to the US as well. Okay. When you see from the growth pattern, because when Twani submitted songs and his brother Warren sent me some music and I'm like, bro, you have no key. Where do you find a key? Like you're off key, like the tone. I was like, one song that he had when we said the girl who do the verse, the chorus on your song where you write and everything, she kill up on your own song. Like the monotone,
That's
I say,
honestly were.
Yeah, all the time. Like I'm harsh, but I tell the truth. You know what I mean? It's like they can deal with it or they can't. So then I said to him, you need voice training. You need to find a sound. If you don't have a sound, you'll be lost in this industry. We're the factory here in Jamaica, really. So if you don't have a signature sound, nobody will pay attention to you. It don't matter if after you find a signature sound, somebody will mimic it. Because you find like you see whether it's Alkaline and Gage and everybody, there's one person who started that sound and everybody else mirror it because it worked. But you have to find a signature sound, and that's how you're going to propel yourself out of being just a social media personality that have following, but into a real artist that people think you're serious. You know what I mean? So he went and paid for online voice and speech training. And when he came back with Honda, the original, at that point I said, come into my office, ready?
Now you're ready.
And then when we launched that out, then Skilly Bang heard it and jumped on the remix. You know what I mean? So, like, artists who listen to you is good. If they don't listen to you, then you're still going to support them. But at the same time, like, for example, when I did a song with Razor B called Tongue, you probably got to hear this for the first time now. Yeah. When I did Tongue with Razor B, I said to him, the tone that you do, which I tell him it's his Terrifabulous voice. That tone, not the not that one there, the tone, the Terrifabulous. I said, that voice there, and the voice you need to start voicing. He did that song, and then when the song started, like it was 2 years ago, started to propel all over the place, and everybody started drop rhythm to him, and him go right back into the other vocal there with 6 songs straight, and then nothing happened with none of them. I was like, yeah. You now listen to me, big up yourself. Still love you. Talked him up to Muscle yesterday, but guess what? If you can't listen to me, then you don't trust me as your manager. Then might as well just stay a friend, and you do your thing, me do my thing.
I hail you, big you up, help you if you need help, whatever the case is. But you do your thing, let me do my thing, and we just keep it moving.
Exactly.
So there's no real argument.
No hard feelings. Me and him wife born on the same day. We're good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But at the same time, you're a professional. You know what it is. And at the end of the day, that's one of the things I love with Yan. Yanique trusts me. Like, Jan, what do you think? Everything Sugar call me and say, Jan, what do you think? You know? It may be a case where she don't follow me think. But at the same time, she still wants to know my input.
So she could weigh it out?
Yeah.
Because ultimately, at the end of the day, it's the artist's life and future. If they're going to make the ultimate decisions and do what they want to do, you know.
Exactly.
But your input helps. Worse said, if they asked you 3 times and it worked 3 times, I asked you 5 and it works 5, I know, okay, you're solid. But at the end of the day, I'm still going to have my own mind. I might try something on the 6th time and it just doesn't work.
There you go.
Yeah.
But at the same time, what you find too is, literally now, I've been in media and entertainment for 21 years. You know what I mean? Me probably know what me I do. I've seen something, may have a good 1 or 2 ideas. So, you know what I mean?
So
I'm not saying I'm right all the time. But 99% of the time. Right?
99. Point one. Nobody could be right all the time.
No,
right?
no. But yeah.
Okay.
But I love what I do. I love working with artists.
You could see that. Me speaking to you about what you do, you're just radiating.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're just radiant from just speaking about what it is that you do. You love it. You understand? Just like I love what I do.
But that's the reason, like, my whole family lives here in Toronto. My whole family. Over 13 years, they've started to, and they've always, my sister does immigration consulting. Like, she find out if John come. No.
Canada, I don't think you would fit in well in Toronto, Canada, because how you like to hustle and move around and do things. Toronto doesn't work there. Even though there's an internet and you could do things that way, but now I'm just stuck in front of the computer making calls or whatever. But sometimes when you're on the ground, you want to go touch people, go look in their face, go link this venue, whatever it is. Toronto isn't. You could come visit.
That's what I do.
You know
for the last 13 years, I pop in, I visit. Like, literally, just like a couple of days ago, my sister said, you know, you look like you move like you know more people in Canada than me. I was like, because I've been here but pop in, but I get to go home. So even when you're on tour, I tour with Macka Diamond, you go on tour with Razor B, you go on tour with Twani, even in COVID, when Twani's song was picking up, where I'm like, you're afraid of COVID, or you want to take a chance, because every minute I get video about the Honda player, so you must say, ready?
Yeah.
We'll just mask up and let's go. And the flights were so cheap. We went to the US.
Nobody's moving.
There you go. The plane empty.
Yeah.
And you go on tour, so you open for Spice, you open for DeMarco, and Twani up on tour, man.
Yeah.
And so, you just want to do stuff in music. You want to work hard. You want to represent the people that you represent well. And yeah, I think I've done a good job with that. So no, I'm not doing the road anymore as much. You know, I've been given the position as senior producer, which is managing the Fame 95 brand that I've been a part of for 21 years. So now it's rebranding, new logo, new changes to the format, new stuff. And that's why I was even here in Toronto now for this radio conference, because it's like how to improve your brand and how to build your brand and how to assist your entire group of companies in Jamaica to build that brand. So yeah, it's been 2 years as, but it's good.
So you're still on air,
yeah,
but you're now a senior producer.
Yeah.
Okay, so then you could still move around as you like, but you got more responsibility.
Yeah, and you kind of have to be more in office now than I can't be missing for 3 weeks on tour. You know what I mean? So it's good because at the end of the day, even up to today, I spoke to Macka. Macka's in Jamaica right now. She's going to be doing the Fix podcast. With this whole drama. I just spoke to her a while ago, but I'm not on the road with her every day all over the place because she has to have her own road manager. Because I'm now trying to, make changes to my brand, my Fame 95 brand, the brand that I've loved for so long. So I'm focused on that for now.
Yeah, definitely. You brought up her name several times. Let's get into it. Macka Diamond, how do you even connect with her in the first place to say this is probably somebody I want to manage PR or whatever it is that you're doing?
So we're doing the launch of Razor B's restaurant. And naturally, Macka and Razor are friends. Macka, Angel, Razor, Pampote, they're all, in the same circle. So I was doing the launch. She came to the launch and she said to me, it's not like I've never known her before, Lady Mackerel, whatever it is. I've interviewed her before in Fame. She says, hey, I want to talk business with you. So I said, okay, no problem. But, then she comes back and say, I want to talk. So I said, all right, let me sit down and talk with you. And she says, she really wants some level of professionalism to her thing. And she wants proper contracts. And she wants to not be the one who's doing everything. Because that's the one thing with Macka. She'll head cook and buckle wash everything. Yeah. So she'll work with promoters. She'll organize our tour. She'll do a lot of things for herself. And she's like, she wants to focus more on the music. So she wants somebody on her team. And she's seen what I've been doing with Curvy Diva, with Razor B, with voicemail. So she think I'm the best person to work with her. So at that time I was like, yeah, at the end of the day, she has like a catalog that not everybody has. You know what I mean? And even though her personality is like, she'd make things roll off her back most of the time. Not no.
we still get there.
No. But most of the time she makes it feel off our backs. You know what I mean? So I said, all right, no problem. I'm willing to work with you, Macka. And that's how we started working and doing road and, you know, promoting stuff and getting some stuff done. But yeah, so when you have a Street Cred contract, it's ironclad. So promoter can't play with you. Yeah. You know what I mean? So yeah, and but how long has it been good? It's been that's probably 2018.
2018,
so
because I
like 6-7 years.
Around 2 years ago, she got like almost like a fashion upgrade. You know what I mean? Where it really said, now this is Macka Diamond now. She looks the role. Yeah, you're mature, so look the role.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're not 21, 25 like these girls, but you're still in the same game.
Yeah.
So look your role. You see, whoever did that makeover, amazing. Kudos to them.
Yeah, there was some persons based in the US as well. So she's based in the US and Jamaica now. I know that careers can be up and down. You know what I mean? I don't necessarily appreciate, I'm going to be honest, like twins are twins, curly locks, whatever it is. I don't appreciate sometimes when you're picking on somebody. You know what I mean?
Why would you say picking? Because this I'm going to be 100% honest. Since we're talking to you like honest.
Yeah.
I feel Macka Diamond is one of the most disrespected artists there is in dancehall.
Yeah.
And that's the truth. I mean, sometimes getting it from the females, getting it from the male, and all of those stuff.
She seems to be... She put on music. I'm thinking, and that's what upsets me sometimes, because when an artist is going to tell you, for put on music, you all know you're for retire, but you're not that much younger than her. That's one thing. Two, places that her music takes her, like, we've been to Costa Rica like 4 times. I can count on one hand how many Jamaican artists perform at Costa Rica as much time as Macka.
Okay.
TOK is one of them. TOK go to Costa Rica every year. When you go to Costa Rica, you probably hear Sean Paul, Serani, Shaggy, TOK, and maybe not even Beanie Man in the here as often.
Not even like
no. Yeah. So you're listening to Costa Rica, and I'm saying Macka Diamond's song is translated in Spanish, in French. She alone on a show with her DJ Super Hype have 5,000 Costa Ricans in front of her, and you're gonna tell her to retire? You're joking, man.
Yeah, no, she I don't know what it is. Again, there's a lot of inner workings behind the scenes.
Yeah, it's a lot of politics and entertainment politics, and women in the game fight each other so hard. It's just so wrong. You know, so the men are already fighting you. Because the weirdest thing I say all the time, like a male producer will have a female artist that wants the voice and wants a career and she's hungry for it. And okay, a voice, but you have to give up the pum pum. Why the man them not to go through that? then the engineer where I mix it, he want pum pum too. The DJ if you play a song, he want pum pum. How much pum pum should the woman them have so? I want pum pum. Come on, man. Just what I said, I wanna be a producer. Any man voice from Meridian, I feel like it. Take it.
Listen, I know you were different. I did not expect this.
It's unfair, man.
But it's because it's a male-dominated industry.
Overall.
Those are the things that happen.
And that is the thing, too. So females have to do song talking about, you give me bun, me nah left him. Me I go stand up for my man. Me I go fight a girl over my man. You have to do songs that the producers want to record, that the DJs want to play, because the minute you start do a song, will look like you had this man, it get parked. The only people that I've seen that get away sometimes with songs and it's a fight to get away with it would be like a Tanya Stevens when she does songs where it look like she a bash man a little bit, but she really tell them what she need.
That it's hard to go around her.
Yes, but that's the thing. But it's true when she said, have you ever talked about to make a girl cheat? Yeah. You ever like, oh, you're not ready for this yet? Enough man out there, them talk about having sex with man and don't know what they're doing. That's why the woman they want money. Because if you go a little 5 minutes and bro, really? This year give me, pay me for my pum pum because me never enjoy it. Simple.
Listen, holy smokes. Yo, you're a different boss.
Yes, it's a podcast. I never say radio. We don't have a radio.
You're a different character. No, I get it. So let's jump into this Macka Diamond situation, and then we're going to cover some other stuff. But
So
as you said,
you find that Macka now has a career that spans, but again, careers fluctuate.
For sure.
You have a high, you have a low, whatever it is, the trending. No, Macka has always been an artist that tried to figure out what's trending, what's happening, and be a part of that.
But I think that might be the problem. Is always trying to find what's trending. That could be a problem. If you have just like, I put out music and when it catch, that's different. But if you always want to be...
No, but that's
your thing?
So if you find that Instagram is where artists put out music, then as an artist, you're going to go on Instagram and put out music. If you realize that TikTok is now what's breaking music, because the reality of the situation is, if there's 100 songs that come out, maybe radio is responsible for 2 of them. Okay. 90 of them both on YouTube, on TikTok. Get it? So as an artist that wants to stay current and wants to say, you want to stay in the music in the industry, you're going to go on TikTok. What makes TikTok work? You go live. Right. Who's alive on TikTok that's making a trend? Is the Rosalie? Is the Derek them? So, all right, cool. You hear a slang. Macka has always been from Lady Mackerel days. A slang work, and a lot of artists do it too. But other artists do it, they don't get bash. But Macka do it, she get bash. Yeah. Macka do anything, she get bash.
But realistically, now that you think about it, I think Macka Diamond, as in a premier artist, is the... Let me get these words right. She's been doing it the longest, because remember, she's coming from in the 80s to right now doing... I don't think there's no other female dancehall artist that's in that level there.
Yeah.
That's been doing it as long as she has.
Is either then dead, gone to Jesus, or something. Yeah. You know what I mean? Consistency. So you may not necessarily approve of everything someone does, but you can understand why they do it.
Okay.
One of the things when she goes and she does a song with Uncle Derek, everybody says, oh, she stooped to the level and she did it. I'm like, it can't be a case where you're saying she does a song with a homosexual person. That's an issue, because there's so many, whether they're coming out and say them gay or not. That's enough artists who are homosexual in the game.
I wouldn't doubt. I'm pretty sure anything that happens in the world happens in Jamaica too, happens in artist community. I get that, but if you know the broader culture isn't really, they're kind of touchy when it comes to that.
Yeah, but we're not as homophobic as we think, I think a lot of times, maybe them vex because they never think about it. Because guess what? That song they trend.
Yeah.
That song they get views. You get me? Millions of views. It trend. It went viral. Even All Together Sing on TVJ, they did the song as a song. People were singing that. Everybody was singing the song. And so it's like, oh, so Macka stooped to that level, but then she get the attention. So how do you say to somebody, don't do something that's going to make you money? Are you going to mind them? You're going to feed them. They have bills to pay. And they realize that TikTok is working and it can give you it may not, there's no way that Macka has ever thought that this song with Derek would be added to our forever catalog. Come on, you're ridiculous. But it's a TikTok song. It's a TikTok trend. You jump on the trend, you jump back up. Now, when you come out and you say, this and that, I should do, I should mash up our career, blah, blah, blah. You make a statement, you say what you say. She's moved on from the song. There's other campaigns that we're working on now, other songs to be released. How it come back around? How you come back around and talk about it again? Sorry, maybe she was harsh in her response, but I believe, and I said it to her too, you have to address it.
You see how I knew that she was dead serious this time? There was no filter, no makeup. I'm going raw.
She just wake up.
I'm saying what I'm saying.
She just wake up and get the link for see what's going on. And so before, she'd probably call me, should have called this, should have called Daddy Red, and maybe we'd talk her down. Make it go on, Macka. Just make it roll off your back like usual. Nobody was, when she got the link and heard what he had to say, nobody was there to say, calm down, think about it, just go live. Because she tried commenting and they keep taking off her comments and she said, oh, okay, let's do a video. And when she go in that high-pitched, I was like, Macka, when I know it wasn't fake. Because when I heard high-pitch, I said, that is Macka upset.
At first, I thought, I seen it like probably 5 minutes after it came out, and I thought it was a publicity stunt. I said, okay, but how she was like really, you could see she was serious. I said, this can't be.
The venom.
If this is a publicity stunt, She needs to leave music and go into acting, bro.
But I looked at it and I said, it's like God. I said to her, I called her, I said, Macka, if I never know you're blessed before, I know you're blessed now. Because the minute that happened, here goes Cardi B singing your song.
That was so crazy.
And I was like, yep. So everybody's like, oh, check on the twins them. Am I all right? You know what I mean? Because guess what? You just said somebody don't have a career, but they have a bigger career than you.
I think that might have been misinterpreted because, okay, you know what? I didn't hear the first thing that Tu-Lox had said, but I heard the second one where it was the 40-minute video, and he said, yes, she has big songs. You understand? I didn't hear the first part where if he said she didn't have a career. I didn't
No. I'm not saying she didn't have a career, but like she dashed with her career. She mashed up our career. Yeah. Our career dead. And you literally pronounce 6 feet under somebody's career, and then international artist Cardi B sing them song. Like, you know what I mean? So I said, at the end of the day, I don't like to get into pasa. I don't like it. You know what I mean? So, again, pasa happened with me. I ignore it. I'm not addressing it because the more you address it is the more you fuel the fire and the more. And I said to her, when I saw the video, automatically I said, you responding, people who don't know who this nigga is, gonna be like, who is he? Go search him up. You know what I mean?
That's how the internet works.
The attention. And I said, maybe that's what he was trying to do because you tried to draw out from a long time. No, me don't know if him have something to promote or whatever it is because there's politics behind everything. There must be a reason behind everything. Like,
but remember, twins are twins, foot to hype. I'm pretty sure there's a couple more. They're the culture warriors. They say, this is our culture. This is what we stick to. Anything deviating from this, we're not about it. And even if they're the only group that thinks that, they're the culture warriors. And
the funny thing is, if everybody thought like that, there wouldn't be dancehall. Because when dancehall was morphing out of reggae, that's it. The problem was, kill it. What the hell is this? You know what I mean? The same thing now when trap dancehall is coming out of dancehall, suddenly it's like, they're looking for the new. There has to be changes. And even if there is the original that people love and people hold on to that, there has to be changes over time because that is how influences happen. And the more the world is open, is the more you're going to be influenced by other music, other cultures. Everything is going to influence you. TikTok influenced her for do the song with a TikToker. It should have been okay if she did it with Rosalie or somebody else.
But I think that's what, especially somebody like Tu-Lox, I think that's what he's saying. He's saying world culture has now invaded Jamaican culture, and Jamaicans don't want to be that culture, and they want something else. And I think that is his point there. You know what I mean? I don't know why he picked Macka.
It's a point, but the other point is there can be variations. For example, if you decide that you like chicken, and you're eating chicken, and you see somebody else eating beef, you're going to say to them, yo, you're not eating beef, a chicken if you eat. No, you like chicken. You continue to eat your chicken. There are persons who are going to want a little chicken and a little beef. Somebody who going to want vegetable and they want none of that. So you can't then say to somebody, you cannot do something. If you love what you're doing, the same way, there are still reggae artists doing reggae music and doing well and doing it globally. And there's dancehall that came out of that. Does that mean, if you ask international people, to them, it's Jamaican music, you know. They don't care if it's reggae or dancehall. You know what I mean? It's Jamaican music.
Usually, dancehall even goes under the umbrella of reggae.
Exactly.
These are reggae artists.
They would call,
they would say Vibes Cartel's a reggae artist.
Baby Sham is a reggae artist.
That's what they say.
Exactly. So you can understand that you're honing through to the original culture. Like, you probably a dance dinky mini and I eat blue draws same way. But maybe we are not. And so even though we understand, and it's good to have that culture maybe cemented and fermented and honored so people know about it. But don't make me feel that I have to do something that's how my father, my grandfather used to do it, so I have to do it. One of the things I used to do all the time, you know, like when my mother teach me how to cook. And she said, this is how you do it. You wash your rice first, then you do this, and you put the peas, and you add this after. So I say, why you have to add that last? Why you can't do that first? No, because I saw them do it. So, because I saw them do it, means I must do it the same way.
You're allowed. Okay. Before we even jump out of this, two things before we even jump out of this. if you say world culture, okay, cool. We're allowed to engage in world culture. Things are going to change. Where do you draw your line now? Where do you say, okay, I don't think this is for me. I don't want to get involved with this. I don't think this is representing my culture the way. Where is that line drawn?
The line is drawn individually. You cannot be the person who decides where the line is going to be drawn for everybody. And it comes right back down to you eat chicken. Chicken is your... Ackee and saltfish is a national dish. It doesn't mean everybody's supposed to be at Jamaica eat ackee and saltfish. You get me? Somebody might be allergic to ackee. You get me? So if they decide, I want to eat jerk chicken or I want to go and eat jollof rice in Africa, where you're going to say to them that that's not your culture. The culture is still preserved, even if persons who are from that culture deviate. There's no way that you're going to have a reggae Grammy that's going to have a hip hop artist that is doing hip hop honor the reggae Grammy. It might very well be a reggae or dancehall artist that is doing a fusion, but it's still going to be some level of authenticity there. The line is drawn by everybody individually. You cannot tell somebody how they're supposed to appreciate their culture or
how they're supposed to represent their culture.
Exactly. So you can't tell me who to collaborate with as an artist. If you're going to tell Shaggy not to collaborate with Sting, go ahead. Oh my God, Shaggy, you're disrespecting the culture. That's not dancehall. That's not reggae. Who are you to say that?
It's one of those
music.
Yeah, it's one of those things where if you're allowed to go do whatever you want, I'm pretty sure somebody's allowed to also comment on what you're doing too. So it works both ways. But what you do after I comment, or what you did to make me comment, that's where the gray area is. Is how you comment. Do I comment back or no? There's many things.
Not only that, but if you've commented and we've heard the comment, you've made your point, and you haven't gotten a response, and you're doing it again with no level of provocation whatsoever. The song never re-released. Right now, Die Die is what's trending on TikTok, not Uncle Derek's song with Macka. So what is the motivation behind addressing it again? So I don't know. Again, maybe you were looking. You wanted a rise. You wanted a response. Well, you get what you asked for.
Because now this brings us to today. Again, I'm just minding my business in here in the studio working. Picked up my phone. The first thing I see now, what is Macka Diamond doing in a graveyard?
With $2.
What? And what made it even super funny? I don't know if anybody caught this. The shovel she was using was a snow shovel.
Let me tell you something. Macka is a comedian, yeah? Macka going to listen. You don't start already, so shall I finish it? No?
Yeah.
At the end of the day, sometimes you look at certain things that happen in the culture and you're like, wow. You know what I mean? It's funny, it's weird, it's also can be a little distasteful at times, because I'm gonna say to you, yeah, I'm gonna watch a video and I'm like, that's a lot. That's a lot. I know you need it for answer. I agree you need it for answer. Yeah. The answer they did loud. Maybe if you didn't think about, if you did wake up and go wash your mouth out of your eye and brush your teeth first, maybe it would have less loud. But yeah, it did loud. And that's the thing about the internet, you can't take it back.
Never.
You put it out there, you have to run with it.
It's just one of those things here.
Hey.
Something else I seen that you're working on, I think this was late last year, for Professor Nuts, the Rugodat.
Rugodat. Oh, they definitely want to carry that back too. Working on possibly a date maybe later this year. So the Golden Mic Awards is really and truly looking at persons who've invested in the industry for more than 2 decades, and probably has not even gotten the recognition that they deserve. So the Rugodat team from Miami, Florida came up with the idea of doing the Golden Mic Award, and they wanted to call it Rugodat because they had seen Professor Nuts perform in Florida, and they were like, yo, this man with him slang from Magnum Kings and Queens, he's inspired so many artists, including Sasko. A lot of artists tell you, and we don't believe that he's gotten the recognition he deserves. Let's give him the recognition he deserves. And not only that, but let's look at recognizing other acts as well. So the 14-karat Golden Mic Awards was actually a 14-karat golden mic. It was like maybe $7,500 US to make. Yeah, it has its certificate of authenticity and everything. That's not for I did. Didn't put them safe. Nobody can see it. Yeah. And we presented that to him in April of last year at the Golden Mic Awards. And we're looking at getting that awards to be something that's a biannual event. So every 2 years, someone else from the industry, from the culture, would be recognized for their work. You know what I mean? Over 20 years of putting music, whether it's inspiring a culture, inspiring artists. You do your due diligence. You have to get recognized for it. So I was very happy to be a part of the team with Don, Christopher, and the whole team to make it happen. And we're looking at doing it again for sure.
Yeah, because I see you work on a lot of events. You're somehow involved with it some way. Somehow you're involved with doing things.
I know. This is the industry and the culture and anything at all that I can be involved in. So it's like when I take on something, I take it on like it's mine. Like I'm a part of it, so it becomes a part of me. And that's even what the team says. Like, Jan, we have to ensure that we have you on as board of directors. We have to be a part of it. Even something like Dancehall Week that I'm a part of too.
Yes.
Really and truly, when you see soca getting away in with so much things in Jamaica that dancehall has not been able to get away with, you have to then say, I have to be a part of making the culture itself in the home of the culture as prevalent. And maybe it's going to take a couple of years to grow to that level. But so did soca. When Byron Lee and Dragonaires they tried, it took a while. And now look at it. You know what I mean? So we're investing in the culture with the entire team, and we're even taking Dancehall Week to Dancehall Weekend to places like Amsterdam, and looking at taking it all over the world as well. So it's for the culture. Everything is for the culture.
Yeah. You could see you love it. And what I tell people is this. Yes, foreign is nice, Out here you could come buy your house, live, work your big job and all that good. The roads are nice and clean. That's good.
Yeah.
But you see, Jamaica is where the world comes to get everything. When it comes to entertainment, it's the ground. You have to call somebody down there. You have to know somebody. Even though a lot of artists right now, it seems like Miami or Florida is another parish when it comes to Jamaica right now.
Well, there's a reason for that. Because during COVID, majority of the artists moved officially to Florida. So because now you have so many artists living there, they're now fostering. It's like you plant a seed and it's now growing. That's what's happening. So when a lot of artists moved to Florida, because Florida was one of the only open states during COVID, and you need for work. So if you need to go to a studio, you need to be out there performing, Atlanta, Florida, and a few other states that probably do it incognito, location to be announced, like tell people your party a keyboard,
You scan this and you'll know what's going on type of thing.
There you go. So that's it. So you find I think the McGregors, like Freddie and a lot of artists, if they didn't move here completely, they relocated for a time here. And so that is what happened. So, I mean, extension is just like an hour and a half from Jamaica. So
just jump on your Friday, you're good.
I don't know. There's a lot of persons who look at it like, they're abandoning the country or whatever it is.
I think that's more of a old way of thinking. One time, if you were a dancehall artist and people found out that you lived outside of the country, basically now, but Cartel, Movado, basically who's left there as giants in Jamaica is Bounty and Beanie.
There you go.
Everybody else is gone.
There you go. They visit.
Top dancehall artists, they are
Sean Paul technically lives in Jamaica, but he might spend a half of the time outside touring and doing work. But Sean Paul lives there. Yeah. Shaggy visits a lot, but you're back and forth. But the same thing with Macka. Macka lives between the US, and it's understandable, especially back in the day when artists from all over the island wanted to bust. They had to come to Kingston. So if you live at St. Mary, like Capleton or whatever it is, or St. Thomas or Mobay or whatever it is, it's like you had to find your way to the 3 studios in Kingston that were really doing the records. So you had to go to the base of where things are. Now, you find, especially as a artist manager and booking agent, the first thing a promoter calls and asks me is, when is the artist going to be in the US? Because it's so much easier for them to
piggyback on and move around.
Exactly. It's cheaper to fly them from Florida to New York than to fly them from Jamaica to New York.
You don't have to deal with immigration.
There you go.
Have to do all of these things.
Exactly. So it's better that you know that the artist already have a work permit, going to be in the US, and if he's going to be in the US, okay, we'll take him for a couple shows. So it's easier a lot of times too that the artist comes and is based in the US, so that they can do the tour and the base is in the US versus flying back and forth to Jamaica. It don't make sense, especially if you're doing an all-in deal. You give me one money and then me I gotta fly myself back and forth and done the money per flight. It don't make sense. So I understand where that comes from, and because I'm like involved in the inner workings, I get it. I get it. But yeah, sometimes I feel not like it's not authentic. But the thing is, the artists still represent and still have a base and still come back to Jamaica.
But we have the internet now. At one time, remember, we only had TV, radio, or newspaper. Now you have the internet. So as I said, I picked it up, and the video was probably 5 minutes old with Macka Diamond, and I seen it. And she could have been in France for all I care. We're all connected.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter where you live right now.
Exactly. But what you find too is, and I say to people all the time, you see, when you travel the world, it's very different from when you watch it on the internet. You know what I mean? So when you look at like a beach in Turks and Caicos and, oh, that's so nice. It's different when your foot in the water. You know what I mean? So, and that's why a lot of artists, even like an artist like that broke out from New York, like a Naiji Boy or a Cranium. They still come back to the base. They still come and record down there, still come and promote down there because that's their base. And as somebody who is an industry professional in Jamaica too, I find that when persons want to authenticate the artist, they might call Jamaica.
You have to.
I remember one time some Canadian promoters called me to say, hey, you guys have a new artist there, and he's doing very well. Do you know him? He has a song that's like my dream. I was like, his name is on Nesbeth. I said, Nesbeth, a new artist. He board was born a long time, and you just know about it. But no, the My Dream song has transcended to places in Montreal and Quebec. And so now they're calling to verify in Jamaica if him really hot down there for true.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So there's like something in the ground that is in Jamaica that you still have to push your foot in the sun. Same way, no matter where you're based.
You have to get the current. You understand? Even if you're just going to recharge for a bit, you need that current.
What is it called? Like Reiki? You have to get the Reiki. You have to feel the soil. You have to connect with the earth. You know what I mean? So I get it. And even when artists from overseas, where they're doing dancehall or doing reggae, and they call me to say, hey, we want to do a campaign, we want to do some promotion, we want some write-ups to the paper. I'm like, okay, when are you coming to Jamaica? You know, we can do some radio interviews over the phone or voice note or whatever it is. I said, yeah, that's good. You can do one or two, but the campaign is usually better when you come on the ground. People see you here. Look at even Molly. She's African. And at Jamaica she reach.
Listen, and remember, she has the biggest song out right
now.
Yeah,
she could have sent a rhythm to Shensi and Skilly Bank. She didn't have to come, but she was very much there. Yeah, so there's something about Jamaica that's just pull people in. And I think that's one of the reasons, like, yeah, I'll visit, I'll travel, I'll tour. Even I'll no problem, but I just have to go on.
Yeah, that's Jamaica always a keep.
Yeah.
You understand?
But it's not a real place.
Listen, what is it like, because of Fame FM, what is it like working with somebody like the great Colin Hines?
Colin Hines on me war all the time, but I love him. Me tell you, Colin. Colin is like such an intelligent creature that you have to cuss him, and cuss on and laugh, and cuss on and laugh, and that is how you relate to him. But he's not an angry person, but it's just how him relate. Like, he not take nothing personal, you know. I didn't mean nothing personal, but that is, you have to say, all right, shut up and listen to me now. Yeah, that's how you deal with him. But he knows his business and he knows music, and you have to give him props for that. So yeah, it's been great work. The entire team, and even persons who have worked with the station and don't work with the station anymore, like meeting people like even Mixmaster Marvin, and you know, Kurt the Party Animal Riley, and we're still friends too, even though because it's the same industry. But yeah, working in the industry, I mean, I believe that, and I'd say it without apology, that some of the best jocks, some of the best DJs in music, some of the best even radio turned producers were through Fame 95 FM. You know what I mean? Because
Fame is, okay, the real umbrella, the real parent company is RJR.
Yeah.
And then under the umbrella is Fame. I think TVJ's under the umbrella.
Right.
Too.
So the RJR Gleaner Group now, because it's now a merged entity a couple of years ago with print as well. So the RJR Gleaner Group has RETV, which is cable, TVJ, and you have TVJ Sports Network, and you have Jamaica News Network. Then you have Hits 92 FM, Power 106 FM, RJ 94 FM, Fame 95 FM. Then you have the digital arm now, because we're even launching the Star and Fame's YouTube channel as well. And then you have print, which is the Gleaner and the Star. So it's the largest media conglomerate in Jamaica. And the best, of course. No apology.
No, man, I definitely love what you guys are doing over there. And when I see you on with Simone on TVJ.
Yeah.
Yes, in the morning I seen you over there. And it's like to see you guys all over the place. I said, hold on. So if I'm on this radio station, why am I over here? Are we not competing? So I said, okay, let me dig a bit deeper.
Realize it's a whole
That's
group.
when I found out. Say, okay,
It's a group.
RJR is the
RJR Gleaner Group.
Yeah. Is umbrella and everybody
Gleaner
else.
Group. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a big umbrella. I mean, the flagship radio station definitely is the number one station for me. And in some surveys, it may be number two, would be RJ 94 FM, because that mixes talk and information and music and just, yeah. So there's something for everybody, because Hits is reggae and sports, and then you have Power 106 that is just talk radio, Fame 95, which is more top 40, more lifestyle. So there's something for everybody in the entire group. And there's the reason I've gotten many offers, you know what I mean? But 21 years, if I'm leaving the RGR group or leaving Fame FM, it must be becoming a flyout.
Yeah.
Or maybe I've gone to the Lord. The Lord.
I don't think the Lord wants you.
What you trying to say? My mother going to tell you to talk on you because she's going to pray for me.
I don't think hey.
No, he's shaking his head right now. Jesus, I'm sorry. But you created me, man. Come on.
No, he knew what he was doing. You know what I mean? What I really enjoyed with this conversation is I tell people a lot. You see the women, even though you don't see a lot of women out front in the industry, behind the scenes, women run this business.
Of course.
When it comes to dancehall and reggae business, women run this business.
No, but even the male artists that are on top, there's some woman there
100%.
Beside or behind them. Yeah. And I think a lot of times too, we have less egos. That's probably why you don't see us like, me.
You don't have the ego, but again, we're being honest, but you have the bitchiness to you.
Well, sometimes you have to be a little bitchy, because guess what? A lot of times men see you and they just say, oh, a woman, so me can walk over and you have to show them. Because I have had promoters where come and say, yo, tell the artist to come in the car, we can go interview. And I say, no disrespect, but my balance and my per diem have to drop before my artist leave the hotel. What you talk about? Watch out. I've gone in a lap. What am I say? I say, money come from me, I'm afraid of you, brother. My money there.
Yeah.
Yep. So now you're gonna come up and I have a contract. When my contract say, you're my good feet, man, a business, but don't know you, brother. So drop my money, or me I go upstairs, and we're not gonna interview and XYZ artist no deal with me. So me the business where you and him contract go. Me know my contract go.
Yeah.
So sometimes you have to be aggressive, because it's like them point and say, go walk over, man. I'm sure. Me a bad man, me a bad girl. What you feel like?
So we're even now.
We're even, bad for bad.
Yeah.
Bad for bad.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right, here. Okay, we're good then. Yo, Jan, come down. Ready. Simple. Yo, your manager shall be over with. Yeah, shall do our work.
But as much as they'll cuss you, they really respect you.
Yeah.
Just for standing up for
Of course.
yourself and the artist. Because I know a lot of time, when it's badness you're dealing with, a lot of people are going to crumble. Because you stood up and said, it's business. It is what it is.
Exactly.
They'll tell you, or even if they don't tell you, it's a respect.
No, but you can tell is that they must say, all right, yeah, you can't mess with her. You know, can't. No, man, I'm not afraid of you, brother. You can't be afraid of people and be in this industry. And I think, especially when I grow up, you grow up and realize that, like, sometimes you have to sleep on the ground because gunshot might fly through your window. What you fear after that? You're not afraid of nothing.
And that's your everyday life. You
Exactly.
understand?
Exactly.
Jan, what's next for you? It's 2025. I know you always have a bag of tricks, something else. Leave us with something. What do you have coming up next?
We have a big tour management Jamaican experience coming later this year. Okay. So look forward. I'm not going to say the name yet. I'm not going to tell you what it is. But look forward to a Jamaican authentic experience that you can fly wherever you are in the world and experience Jamaica on a different level. So that is the next project.
Okay. We're going to definitely look at you. Remember, you heard it here first.
Yeah.
publicly, you heard it here first, because clearly they're working on it behind the scenes.
Yeah,
So we're
yeah.
going to really see what it is that you're working with, because again, I know how your mind works.
Yeah.
You're very out there.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it might involve AI or something. You know what I mean?
I just know it's going to be something that you'll enjoy. And I think, especially considering like we know the Jamaican culture and the Jamaican experience, know that it's going to be unique. You know, I stand for the culture and I stand for Jamaica in general. So it's going to be uniquely Jamaican with a whole lot of class.
Yeah.
So look forward to that.
Definitely looking forward to that right there.
Yeah.
And we know it's going to be an amazing experience, whatever it is. She's not telling me. I'm going to try to get her off the air.
No.
But she's not telling me on camera.
You're so no. Just wait. Later
wait.
this year,
Yeah.
after the summer, you'll hear more about that.
Yeah.
Hear more about. And of course, yeah, I will make sure to tune into Fame 95 FM. Download the app as well. I have to do the plug. Shameless plug. Fame 95 FM. Yeah, make sure you download the app and look for us on YouTube just in a couple of weeks as well.
You think I was going to ask you, I was going to make you leave without asking you, when are you going to be back on air?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I go back to Jamaica on Monday after spend Mother's Day, mother.
Fair
and
enough.
I'll be back on radio on Wednesday next week. Yeah. So just a couple of days I'll be back on radio and back in office doing my work.
When is your time slot?
On Wednesday at 5 o'clock I do a Liming and Vibing feature, and on Friday at 4:30 I do a feature called What to Watch. Yeah, so tune in. And of course we do coverage of events and you know, so some fest, all that stuff. You'll
know
find
what's
me
so
there
funny?
too.
You know what's so funny? As soon as I asked you about radio, the radio voice turned.
I see your face and I like I said, look how she just chipping the radio voice. Like Janice I thought now and then Jan.
Yeah.
Janice. Jan.
Yeah, no, that was wicked. Listen, again, I like to be transparent and on the air. Leslie linked me and said, yo, I have somebody for you because we've done some good work before. I said, all right, send me the bio, let me look at it. Sent me the bio. I said, okay, cool. Sent me the picture. I said, okay, let me do some research. I couldn't really find a lot of stuff on you.
Yeah.
I have a bit, you know.
Yeah.
But you see the way how you rolled this conversation? This is one of the best conversations I've had. You understand? With minimal amount of material.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
It's just you're flowing,
flow.
you're open, you're honest, and you're a different character. I'm pretty sure when you walk in the office,
Yeah, man.
back to Jan, yes, this is
Management meeting, talking to the CEO. Hi, good afternoon. Yes. That was a fantastic radio conference. Listen, there's so many things I want to talk about. Yeah. And then Janice will be like, yo, can't stand an artist at some time. You know? It was annoy me. But, it's a personality. And, yeah. I'm glad, but you are one of the persons that get me to come sit down and talk. Right. Like right now, me I said, Jano, so I don't know if Vegas are gonna start pick for me again. Lord God, the twins are gonna start pick for me too. Like, I don't know, but you got
as
me
you
to
said,
talk.
your back is Brad.
Yeah, back very broad.
No, somebody
Big back.
Listen, no, I like to talk to industry professionals. Yeah, artists are the main things you talk to.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of engines that makes this artist who they are, and I like to talk to as much moving parts as possible.
Yeah, because you get different opinions as well. You get a lot of thought process going through. Yeah.
Because if you only deal with artists, you're going to think that the business is like this all glamorous. When you start to talk to the real players, you understand what really happens in this business.
And trust me, that's one of the things I want to leave with. Female artists, and you're coming in this industry, and I can understand even when you see how protective Ramesh was of Shenseea. If you're in behind the scenes, you understand why. Like, women in this industry are taken advantage of unnecessarily, and expectations are great. And not only are you being fought by the same people who you want to work with, but then you have the females and it's the same industry that is putting the females up against each other. Like, make it be a fight. Like, you're going to push Pamputi against Spice because look how Spice long in the industry not give you a song. She get a song, no. We're not going to say no. She have a collab, no. We're not going to say. Like, you always find them trying to find things to break women down. And sometimes you can understand where you say, what happened to she? Or she in the industry. But she tired.
You could tell, I spoke to a couple people I spoke to about a couple of weeks now, especially females. Some of them take a break, and I asked them, so you didn't miss doing music? And they said, I didn't miss the business.
Exactly.
You
miss
understand?
music, but you don't miss the industry. You know, it's harsh. It's rough. And I can understand it. So when artists tell me I support all artists, but let's see if a female artist is talented, because even one of the things I created on the station is a Saturday show called Her Saturdays.
Okay.
So it's all female issues, female topics, and every week we feature a female artist, known or unknown. Come and share material, because they need the support. You know what I mean? So yeah,
And
I'm all for you, girl.
You understand?
Yeah.
Jan.
It was so nice.
Excellent conversation. Excellent.
Love it. Anytime I come back, man, just call me. Ready?
Make sure.
Ready.
You know what I mean? Leslie, thank you for putting this together. You understand?
Yeah.
Big up yourself for making that happen. Let me give you an outro and get you out of here from this wicked conversation. You understand?
Okay.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is... Hold on. Pull back. 2 things I forgot to tell you.
Okay.
Leave some social media contacts, and if there's any big ups you need to big up, floor is yours 100% before we get out of here.
I have to big up my whole radio team, all my artists that I've ever worked with. Love you guys completely, wholeheartedly. Even Mr. Vegas, big up yourself. You know what I mean? I love the industry. I love the music. I love my whole team at Fame 95 FM and the entire RJ Glino Communications Group. I don't ever see you going to hear this and be like, wow, trouble. But don't make him go online. Don't make him go online. But yeah, follow me on Instagram if you want to at Janice Young. Sometimes I don't really post. You probably find more activity on my WhatsApp status than you find on IG. Because I am still such a private person that let me say you're not seeing an interview. You're not seeing me. I've not done other than TVJ interview to talk about Fame FM or to talk about something relating to the brand or. But I enjoyed it.
Yeah,
I'll have these private conversations with people, but now you get it publicly.
Yeah, no, thank you. Thank you for this super exclusive, you understand?
Yeah.
Thank you. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is Muscle, and this has been another Two Line Music Hut's Entertainment Report podcast, and we are out. This podcast is brought to you by www.twolinedmusichut.com.